Is it streaming already? Okay, there it goes.
The picture, Steve.
Hey, KP, how do you get to a watch party? It's not coming up on mine for some reason.
On Facebook?
Yeah. More options. It doesn't say watch party. It doesn't. What's up, Mia?
You ran away. Mia.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back. It's Wednesday, December the 2nd, 2020, which is the year I can't wait for it to hurry up and get over. But you got us. You got the Miller Boyzzz. See in the back there? The Miller Boyzzz. In touch with the Miller Boyzzz. Your weekly talk show where we talk about all things impacting the African American community, the city of Fresno, and the surrounding area. As always, I'm joined by my brother,
Hi.
Mr. G. Douglas, and he's got my beautiful niece there.
I brought my
What's up,
mask out
Mia?
this time. My protection.
So where you want to start, Joe? I know where we're going to end up, but where you want to start?
1967, February 28th.
Okay.
I have no idea. The world is going crazy. What's up with your governor? Is he going to shut us all down, or is he going to?
Yeah, he should. He got there's I want to say it's like right at 50 counties, 50 of the 58 counties, 50 of the 56 counties are in purple in the state of California, and so he needed to do something because coronavirus is real. I can tell you that one perspective, I referee football with CIF, and they modified the season of sports where there was going to be 2 seasons starting in January. Well, that's now on hold again. It's being pushed back. We were supposed to start the first season that first Friday of January with football and some other things, and all of that has been postponed now. They're not going to make a decision until the first of the year as to whether or not they're even going to be able to play. Also, in that first season, which ends in end of March, beginning of April, there'll be no state championship. So there'll be no state championship in football. There'll be no state championship in basketball. I'm sorry, it's basketball. I think it's basketball. There will not be a state championship game this year in basketball because there's just not going to be enough time for them to be able to get that done. So that declaration came out on Monday. So, the governor's got to do something and not cow down and turn around to this conservative wave that we've got going on right now. What he needs to do is shut us down and put pressure back on the federal government for the Senate to get off their asses and to give us some stimulus money individually as well as small businesses for us to be able to sustain ourselves. Damn them. Those tax breaks for the rich and all the other kind of crap. They need to get money into the hands of the engine that stimulates this economy, and that's you and I and people that's like you and I. So,
well, I know the last time they did that, there wasn't a TV to be found at Walmart anywhere.
Right.
So people are going to spend that money. Yeah, I agree. But how do you get people that have that are dying You know, you asked me, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and by the way, sorry we couldn't make it last week. It was just a little bit too much going on. But you know, how can you convince a person who's dying that what they believe in is not real? You know, the unicorn that they believed in, then poke them in the rear, and they still don't believe it's real. That it's real.
That's
how
true.
do you convince a person like that?
There's a story out, lady, is either South Dakota or North Dakota. She was a nurse, and she was talking about sharing her experiences in the emergency room, in the intensive care, where she had patients who were literally on their last couple days of life, who was still claiming that COVID was not real. It was a hoax. It was made up.
Correct.
And these people would be dead the next day or 2 days later.
Right.
And like she said, you know, there's no reasoning with some of the Trumpsters.
Yeah, but you know, but
I'm not even gonna call them Republicans. I'm not gonna call them conservatives anymore. They're Trumpsters. And it's scary that that you have people who drank that much Kool-Aid.
No, that's see when you're taught to think a certain way because they're telling you that that's the correct way, you can't wean yourself off of that. This is now a science of human mind control and modification, and they've been doing it for years. And so they already know, that going in, that people are going to believe most of the BS that you tell them, that you pour down their mouth. And it's called tribalism. You know, these Europeans have wanted their tribe to win so bad that they can't see logic. They don't see the logic in it. They don't see that things are not the way that they believe. You know? That's how you get people to believe that there are 2 different or 3 different or 4 different races. There's one race, the human race. But if you go up against somebody that believes that there are 3 or 4 or 5 different races, then you have to take the proper steps to protect yourself. You know, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, I'm just hopeful that. So you said what should the governor do? I think the governor needs to shut us down for a period of time. And then all out.
Let me ask you this: When do you think he needs to shut us down?
Probably
immediately or 2 weeks ago? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we've been 40 plus counties. Basically, every county from San Diego along the Pacific Ocean up through the Central Valley and over to the Bay Area has been purple for, I want to say this is 3 weeks now that we're going into. There's like half the state and all of the top 10 major cities are all been in purple. So I understand the economy needs to get stimulated and stuff, but how much more death and destruction do we got to have for that to happen? I think what he should do is he should shut us down and then do an all-out PR campaign to against Trump and his administration for not doing more, and in particular, even worse than Trump, that damn turtle man McConnell. For not allowing things to come through the Senate. You know, they passed that one stimulus, the second stimulus bill. I get them confused all the time, but there was a second stimulus bill that was passed in the House. That was like 4 months ago. It was longer ago than that. That was in the summer. They had that second stimulus bill passed, sent it over to the Senate, and Mitch McConnell hasn't done shit with it. And see, that's the other problem is you got people who are damn near billionaires making these decisions about stimulating the American economy. They're not gonna do that shit. They're gonna find a way to fatten their own pockets, which is what they've been doing, rather than truly helping to stimulate the economy, which is by giving people who gonna spend money. I was in today. I went and got a soda. On the way home from doing some stuff today with Daddy, going to Marcus over there on the corner of the Market Center. A little girl did 3 transactions on her EBT card. She bought some junk food, she bought some sodas, and she pulled some cash off the EBT card. And yeah, as bad as I'm thinking that, what? Why are we doing this? But that's exactly how you stimulate the economy. You don't stimulate the economy by giving $1 million to a person who don't need $1 million, who is then going to buy stocks and bonds, buy another car. No, they ain't gonna buy another car. They're not gonna put that money back in the economy. They're going to put it back into their holdings. And we just have a very, very, very bad way of looking at the economy and how things do. But unfortunately, we're being governed and being headed and being led right now by the rich, the wealthy, who have they're so far removed from reality, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, using what you just said to stimulate the economy, that is exactly the reason why the border will never be shut down. Mm-hmm. Because the Hispanic people and other folks that come through the border on the southern end of the United States are what stimulate our economy. They are the people, and don't give me that crap about them paying more taxes and this, that's not the way they stimulate the economy. They stimulate the economy by spending the money as a permanent, or not a permanent, but as the lower class. They come in, they buy cars, they buy gas, they pay rent, they pay all of these different things and all of this, which keeps our economy rolling. So they'll never shut down the border.
The downside to that, though, is that I don't know if it still is that case, but at one point in time, the biggest export out of America into Mexico was money. So people would come across the border, would make money, they buy their gas and do all those type of things, but whatever extra money they had, they were sending it back home to Mexico.
Well, I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's the reality of the situation. That's why the border will never shut down, because if I have a corner gas station, I need the Latinx population to come through there and spend and buy my gas and buy the candy, like you said, and buy all of those things that they need to sustain themselves for a happy understanding of themselves. I need them to come through my business. I need for them to come through my corner grocery store and buy those types of things. So that's what I'm saying. I don't,
I got you.
Yes, and I understand about them sending, the cash back home, but it's not going into the banks, and that cash that they send home is going to come back into the United States one way or the other.
The other part about it is and this is a thing, and I kind of had to, check myself today, is if I get $200 a month in an EBD card or EBT card or whatever it is, and you get $200 a month in an EBT card, and I sell you my EBT card for $100 cash, and you now have $400 that you spend off of that card and into the economy, who cares whether I spent it or whether you spent it? That's a total of $400 is going back into the economy. And so when the conservatives come up with this argument about all this fraud and people, you give people this money and they're not spending it for the purposes that they're, who freaking cares?
They care. They care because it's about, at that point in time, it's about power and control, and they believe that it's their money. They view it as it's American money that they're giving to people, and they should be able to dictate through the power and control of their Europeanness to tell people what to do with their money.
The other side of it, though, is that they use that argument to justify what it is that they're doing. We cannot give this money to those types of people because they're going to misuse it, misappropriate, and all the other kind of stuff. So we've got to take that money and put it into our businesses so that we can now stimulate the economy from the top down. And that doesn't happen. It didn't happen at all. And so, I don't know anything about this Janet Yellen lady that President-elect Biden is going to put in charge of the what's it called? The federal thing. So she's going to be in charge of banking. Anyway, she's going to be doing something with finance. I've heard her name a lot, but I don't know anything about her. But I hope that she will Here's something that they could do very easily: eliminate student debt. That would be, if you don't want to give people money, then take some of their debt off of the ledger. If you don't want people, conservatives, if you don't want people, so-called low-class people, uneducated people, the impoverished people to get this money, then what you do is eliminate debt from the working class people. That will also stimulate the economy. If I don't have to pay $500 a month paying back my student loans, that now gives me $500 extra dollars that they didn't have to give to me. It's already money that I'm making, but now I can take that money and not send it to pay my student debt. I can go buy a car, go purchase a house, go buy clothes, go do something else and use my own money. But that's the other side of it, is the conservatives have got the middle class so tied up with expenses such as medical expenses, education expenses, that kind of stuff. The money that we're making, we can't spend it into the economy except for paying it back to the government, and then they're going to take their tax breaks out of that money and put it in their offshore accounts, and it's not going to benefit at all. And so it's a vicious, ugly cycle. And so I'm hoping that this Yellen lady will do some drastic types of maneuvers. If McConnell won't give the public money, then find a way to release some of the financial burdens from people who are in the middle class. That's another way that you can can get the economy stimulated. And so I'm still eager and interested to find out what's going to happen.
I agree with you. The problem with that is that those conservative folks are the ones in control of saying yes or no right now. And that's how they're making their money. That's how they're putting bread on their table. That's how they're paying their mortgages. That's how the bankers are making the 10s and 20s and 30s off of the American population and the general public. So I don't see that happening either. And they would even go one step and label it and call that socialism. You know,
well, everything they do is socialism. Those damn tax breaks that they got that went to the top 1%, that's socialism. They are getting funded socially from their government. That's socialism. They don't describe it that way, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but it's not. You can't convince the raper that he's raping, and so that's kind of the situation that it's in. They will not acknowledge the fact that they don't make anything. They don't sell any. They don't export any goods. They don't sell any goods. What they're selling you is the opportunity to take money, and then we'll make money off the interest in the back on the back side of it, on the back end of it. And well, so that's their business.
The only pushback I'll give you is you can't convince a rapist that he's a rapist until he hears the clink clink of them damn bars closing on him.
He still won't admit to being a rapist because he doesn't understand. He doesn't have the mindset. He doesn't. That's not what he's doing. This is his way of
rape is about power.
Excuse me. Well, okay. So if it's about power and he's thinking it's about the sexual gratification, then you already start with a misnomer and a misunderstanding. So he's not going to come to that understanding or terms of that because he doesn't understand. So if you are raised in a European household to understand that this is how we make our money, you know, you don't want somebody to put your mind in to jog your mind in a different direction. You don't care. You have no care. It's just like what we were saying when we opened up the conversation. When people are dying on their deathbed, there's no other understanding. You are dying and you will be dead, but not from this COVID because it ain't real. Where you go? You left me.
No, I'm here. I just found another picture, so I was adding it in. I'm telling you.
So yeah, so you can't, you know, that's just the way it is. So you're dealing with the mental. Like I say, you deal with the demarcation line of about 55 years old. Before 55, you could call black people's the N-word, a Negro, or whatever you want to call them. You can slap them, you can rape them, you can cut their heads off, because you were socialized not to believe that they were people. Under 55, after the Civil Rights Act was passed in 67, I believe, 64, I believe, then you had to have a different mindset. And as you groom the society for that different mindset, then the stereotypes are being broken. And you have, that's what you see. People are rebelling against the new understanding of how we as a society look at African Americans, or people of color. Let's put it that way: people of color versus people, European people, or non people of color. And that's what's going on. You have to convince, like you said, the education is the key. And something else that you said earlier is going to be interesting, and I hope it plays the way that people are saying, the general populace is saying. It looks like down in Georgia, they're going to get the 2 senators in, and if that flips, oh my goodness, you're talking about some mad folks.
Yeah, well,
some pissed off people.
That there are they call it a political dirty bomb. McConnell, some of the legislation that he's trying to pass right now. Yeah, you can have these 3 beings, but you're going to take these riders on there also. And one of them is that something happens with the Federal Reserve as far as making money. You won't be able to do it, and it blows up. The timer goes off right in the middle of 2021, if I'm not mistaken, or the fall of 2021. And so they're doing all kind of evil, nasty, underhanded crap, and it's not going to fly because people are catching it. But the other part that needs to happen is these folks need to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable. They need to have some public, not physical floggings, but they need to have some public displays of flogging. These people need to have indictments against them. They need to be done in those court proceedings. Need to be done in public. They need to be made examples of.
I agree, but that, what you're saying, what you're speaking of, goes against the grain of the European self-contract with other Europeans. I cannot publicly flog or discredit someone who looks like me because it's going to hurt my value, and it's not going to happen.
I am so happy that there is a non-European who is going to be in the number 2 seat, because there lies your pushback. There is some non-Europeans who are in the House of Representatives, not so much the Senate, but in the House of Representatives and some of these state governments who are in positions to push back. And I hope that they do that. Georgia right now is going to be a major player in the political structures moving forward, especially if they wind up getting those 2 Democrats. You probably gonna wind up with Stacey Abrams as the governor of Georgia in 3 years or 2 years now, maybe 2 years from now. And so there's a change coming. The other folks that I'm hoping, that I'm expecting, and I don't know how, is the young people. I keep telling you that half of our American population is under the age of 40. And they are going to be heard in some way. I don't know how, I don't know where, what they're going to do, but at some point in time, they're going to be heard. And
I hope that they're heard in a positive way toward the causes that I believe in, and not a different direction.
Well, I won't say that they're going to necessarily, because their causes, the way they see the way that the under 40s see the world is way different than the way we see it. They see it from a different perspective. I shouldn't say it's different. They see it. We've always been looking, and I shared this with somebody the other day. Our generation, our leadership of our generation was always in front of us and pulling us. That baby boom generation has always been pulling us to greatness, pulling us to overcome obstacles and stuff. Now with this youth movement, our generation is not going to be pulled, we're going to be pushed, if that makes sense in the analogy I'm trying to make. The leadership that we're getting ready to get is going to be younger than us. How are we going to respond to that? And that's the part that intrigues me.
Our generation is going to respond to a younger generation the same way we were responded to by the older generation, because that's what we were taught.
No, I disagree. I disagree, because our generation has always been, there's a hierarchy. There's a way there's a process that you go through. You go through the elders. The elders are the ones that you need to have deference to, those type of things. This generation behind us does not subscribe to that. They subscribe to, if this glass is important, then everybody who believes that this glass is important, I'm down with you. But if you think that that pickup truck over there is more important, then you're on your own. You need to go find your own tribe that thinks that pickup trucks are important.
Right. And so what our generation is going to do is they're going to recognize what you just said, and then they'll covet and control the glass.
It's not gonna happen. I agree. I agree with you that is what we're going to attempt to do, but that's not gonna happen. I can tell you right now, this younger generation, it's not gonna happen. I just don't foresee it. There's all kind of examples, national examples as well as local examples I can give you on that. But I don't see that this youth group doing that, because they understand the power. They don't understand the power. They know they have something special and unique. They just don't know how to use it all. It's like a baby.
So how do you use something that you don't know how to use? So you have to have trial and error, and then when it doesn't work, what do? You go talk to the people. Go talk to the people who you believe should understand how the mechanism works, and then that's where our generation will fall into place. Because our generation is going to say, don't listen to that older generation. They're gone. They had their time. So this is what we're going to do. That you really covet that glass over there. Okay, this is what we're going to make that glass. We're going to do this with that. It's all about manipulation, and the human person is in the current flavor of the world is all about manipulation. It's not a socialist process. It's about, and that's why the United States doesn't make anything. What do we sell? We sell hope.
Right.
We sell religion.
Although I did buy some forks the other day that was made in the United States for the first time in the last 15 years.
Did they taste different?
I want you to think about what you just said. You said that the younger folks are going to look at us, or we're going to tell the younger folks, you can't follow the generation ahead of us because they weren't doing things the correct way. So think about the message that you're giving the young folks.
So follow us.
Right, but why would a young person follow us, our generation, when we are damning the generation we didn't necessarily follow the generation that's before us, or we're damning them, we followed them, and now we're damning them? Why would they continue to do that? Because
of what you just said. They don't know any better.
Oh, Gerald, they do.
Okay.
You're underestimating young people to death.
Okay.
I have a meeting tomorrow night with a group of under 40 African Americans that are here in the area that I didn't even know. There are some young folks here that are leading branches of organizations and doing all kind of good things. And what I'm hopeful to do with this is to get them stimulated to get into their own tribes and camps and sport and let them go. But I just want them to understand that there is. What you just said is you're going to guide them in the direction that you want them to go in. No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
All I'm trying to do is use my influence to be able to get them together.
Exactly. Right.
Together, period. I'm not setting any agendas. I'm not telling them what their purpose is. I want them to introduce themselves and let them click and connect in any way that they can. We got young ladies who overcame foster care, who is now a doctor and doing writings. We have two young ladies that I've never even heard their names until a week ago. One is running some department in social services, Fresno County. I think it's Fresno County social services. Another one is doing some brilliant things at Fresno Unified. Those people in that generation need to know who each other are, and they need to be able to put them. I think the best thing that our generation can do is put them in the same room and let them come up with whatever outcomes they want to come out of it. If they have questions and they want to ask us, great. If they don't, let them learn through using their superpowers and making mistakes. I think that's going to be the difference, at least the way that I see it is, the difference from what our generation, our elders, how they handled us and didn't do so successfully, to where I think our generation needs to help the generation that's behind us. And so, it's all going to take time. It's all going to be, a work in progress. There's going to be a lot of hurt, pain, struggle that goes through it. But, I'm committed, and I'm eager and committed to doing my part best I can. But I don't want to set an agenda for them. I don't want to set up some guidelines. All I want to do is be able to get them together in a room and let them have their own conversations and develop their own direction. There's going to be, I don't know, there was like about 20 invitations that went out, and 6 of them are doctors, have gone through the process of education of getting their doctoral degree, and they're under 40 years old, under 30 years old. And so that's just a lot of talent.
Yeah, it's a lot of talent that goes in energy and effort that goes into, if they don't have a clear and direct person in a leadership role to show them this and catch them up to where it needs to be. The trick of that is that they will spend their time, energy, and effort reinventing the wheel.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because they may create a new wheel, a different type of wheel, a different use for the wheel, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for us to say that we need to guide a young lady or a young man who has had experiences that we haven't had, educationally, experientially, as far as traveling, those type of things, I just think that we're doing it. What we are doing the generation that's behind us and 2 generations behind us, we're doing them a disservice. And so I'm helpful. I'm not helpful, but I'm hopeful that that type of energy and stimulus is going to change what we got going on here locally. I had a conversation the other day when I was doing yesterday when I was doing the COVID testing. Doing an interview, and the lady asked me, well, what do you think attributes to the lack of information getting to the African American community about COVID and all that kind of stuff here? Is that we have a very, very, very screwed up conservative mindset that is not comfortable with doing outreach, and they're not comfortable with adding people into their circle who can do the outreach. And we got to change that. There's no reason for the 5th largest city in the state of California to only be able to process 200 COVID tests a day. That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts to me. And so, anyway, we'll talk about that also here in a little bit about what our COVID status is here, because it ain't good because of our leadership. I think that we've got.
Well, you got to understand that the leadership got its marching orders and pecking orders from Washington, D.C., the Trump administration and Donald Trump. And he is a bona fide, downright idiot. And so you had like I'm trying to get you to understand, the people in power that have held the reins had this planned, scheduled understanding of herd immunity. This is what you're seeing. You're seeing a herd immunity because that is the philosophy. They believe it's science because they can point to numbers. They don't understand what science truly is. They don't really care what science truly is. But from a tragedy, they can make and prosper off of the drugs, off of the hospital beds. It's the same. What we're seeing is a recommittal to what do you call it? Capitalism, not
Right.
in a prison industrial complex, but now we see it in a medical
Industrial
journey
complex.
with COVID. So who can make the most masks? We can go from selling these masks for $1 to $5. So we need to, how can we keep the sickness going? Well, what we can do is we can have a herd immunity, or and let it run its course through the herd and the population. That's what's going on. That's why, and Fresno is the people that control Fresno, they're very, very, very conservative, and they're going to take their marching orders from the top and Donald Trump, and that's what we're seeing here. Now that hopefully that Donald Trump is out, and we'll be moving on to greener pastures wherever he goes. I wish him well. Just please get out of the way. We should hopefully see things changing. Huh?
I agree with you about the imitation that's going on here in the Fresno area with Washington, D.C. Donald Trump is directly responsible. Donald Trump and his events are directly responsible for at least 2 deaths that I know of due to COVID, people attending his events. He's still having parties, super spreader parties. What do these idiots here, these conservative idiots here do, or mayor-elect and some other conservatives? They have a election watch party the night of the election, and they have numerous people to catch COVID out of that election party. And Jerry Dyer was in quarantine for whatever it was, 14 days, whatever, because he went to a party. So I agree with you wholeheartedly that we're in a very conservative area, and that this mindset, our political mindset here, mirrors and mimics exactly what's going on in Washington. But the good thing is, Washington is changing. It is changing. And so I'm looking forward to the change that's going to happen and is going to occur going forward. But when you talked about capitalism also, man, that capitalism, the medical industrial capitalism, I thoroughly believe that contributed to Mama's death. She was supposed to come home a week earlier than ultimately she was from that facility. And because I don't know exactly all the rancor, they wound up putting in an appeal. Talk Mama pressed her into doing an appeal. She wound up staying there in the facility for another week. And I believe that's when she got COVID. And it was because bottom line is, they got to have asses in those beds to be able to charge the insurance companies and all. It's all a fucking capitalism, excuse my language, it's all a fucking capitalism game. And I believe that Mama got caught up in it, unfortunately. And unfortunately, our system, for a person who goes through a situation like Mama went through, there is no other alternatives. You don't have another alternative other than to rely on supposedly a skilled nursing facility to be able to help them be able to recover from whatever the medical situation they're going through. So yeah, you're right. It's not a military industrial complex. It's a medical industrial complex, and they're fucking cleaning up right now. So capitalism right now. This open market, free capitalism that we got going on literally is killing people. It is literally killing people right now, based on how it is being displayed, being utilized here in this time of COVID. And so yeah, I hear you, and I totally 200% agree with you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but that is how the capitalistic society makes its money. That's how it's the opportunists. They can care less about your well-being.
So then don't call it a skilled nursing facility. Don't call it child care. Don't call it whatever these other monikers are. Call it a business. Period. Call it a business. It's a capitalistic business, so that people understand the chances that they're taking by going and participating in it.
Name me one business that is not in the mold or model of capitalistic business.
Don't know. I have to think about that. I don't think there's very many, even in education.
Because they're all in the mode of making money,
right.
including the businesses now that don't sell anything other than hope and dreams.
But making money is not necessarily the root of all evil. It is when you're trying to make excessive amounts of money, that's when it's the root of all evil. All businesses are set up to make money. If a business makes $1,000 a year, that should be successful. But it's not, because of the greed that we have in our society. $1,000 of profit on an annual basis is pennies. They're looking to get $10,000 worth of profit. They're looking to get millions of dollars of profit. So that's where the capitalism gets out of hand.
And let me tell you something. It's a mindset. It doesn't even have to be about money, because a lot of times, as a police officer with the city of Fresno, I had conversations with sergeants about writing tickets, about doing more reports, about doing more work, about doing more of this. And it does not have anything to do with the stretch of making money in that job or that capacity. It's about
what was it about?
What is it about?
Yeah.
It's about the power of a person over another person to dictate that them doing something, to agitate themselves. It's about the understanding in that particular supervisor's understanding that if the person is not actively doing something, agitating or something, then they're not working, which is not true. Because even if you're sitting still, to a person that has a good conscious understanding, you are still doing something.
Right.
The act of sitting still is actually doing something, and so that's a part of our, like you said, our society that the people in charge, they don't understand. So there's
I think they understand. I think they understand fully, and their understanding, their full understanding of what it is they're doing, is what allows them, using your term, that is what allows them to manipulate the situation to their benefit. I think Mitch McConnell fully understands what he's doing. There's no misunderstanding about that. Donald Trump fully understands what he's doing, and they don't care about the negative results.
What is Mitch McConnell doing, and what is Donald Trump doing?
Making money. Period. That's what they're doing.
No. I think that Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump are playing the power game so that the system of racism, white supremacy will maintain its structure, and they will have an easier time of making money. They will actually, as Neely Fuller would say, so that they could control the 9 areas of people activity, which is an undergirth of them making money. Because if I can force you to go to my supermarket or my place, then yes, I'm going to make money. But I have to be able to control your patterns of thought, your patterns of movement, what you buy, the TV programs, the media, everything. And that's what they want to do. They want to maintain that power structure so that they can move you into a. If we had free will, then you might find a different option to go do something.
In American society, in particular in American political society, American politics, power equals money. If you don't have no money, you cannot be powerful. If you are powerful, you have money. It's one and the same, unfortunately. that is one of the reasons this whole movement about taking money out of politics. I am all for that. And what that would mean is that no matter who you are that's running for a particular position, the government then provides you. You and I are running for Fresno City dog catcher. We apply, we pay our fee, whatever the fee is, say it's $1,000 fee. We pay our fee, and then the government gives us, county government, state government, whatever, gives us X amount of dollars to spend on our campaign. Period. You can use your money however you want to advertisements, signs, whatever, but we get the same amount of money, which is provided from our tax base. We pay, I don't know, 6 cents, $2 a year in annual taxes to be able to make this fund available. But you and I have the same amount of money, whether it be $20,000, $30,000. We cannot spend any more money than that because that money is coming to us. Now we've taken power, political power, and money and separate the two. But right now, it's crazy. You and I will never be senators because we would have to be able to generate tens of millions of dollars to be able to be a senator. You're a very intelligent dude. You could be a senator representing California, but because of our financial situation, that will never happen. That's not the way our system was developed. That's not the way our system was intended. That's not the intentions of our system. And so I'm hoping that people will do some political reform. What's going on? If not at the state level, at least maybe at the county. Well, we won't be doing it at the county level either right now because of the conservative mindset of our county. So anyway, I want to switch gears. You ready? So everybody, hopefully you see my backdrop there. You see my backdrop? See the Miller Boyzzz back there? Those are Bessie's boys. If you can't tell who's who, that's Gerald on the left and me on the right.
I'm the cute one.
Huh?
I'm the cute one.
Okay. The cute one is the one in the brown, right? Do you remember that picture?
Yeah, it was on Tuolumne.
Yeah, over there on Tuolumne Street with the big back TVs. So for those of you who I'm assuming everybody knows, we lost our mom last Tuesday, November 24th. That's why we weren't on last Wednesday. Our mom has been fighting lung disease for about the last 6 years or so and had complications caused by COVID. She contracted COVID in a skilled nursing facility and wound up succumbing to that, to pneumonia that was caused by COVID. And so we said our goodbyes to her last Tuesday. And that's why we weren't on Wednesday. As Gerald said, that was a little bit too much for us to handle and be able to deal with. But I do want to make sure that we acknowledge Bessie Ruth Miller, who was born March 12th, 1943, in a little town in southwest Arkansas called Tollet. And moving out to California, cut grapes and pick cotton and tomatoes and all those type of things out on the west side before getting into school here in Fresno. Graduate of Edison High School. People don't realize this, but she only went to three schools in her educational career. She did kindergarten, first and second grade at Western Colony, which no longer exists. When my grandparents moved into the city of Fresno, she went to Carver, grades 3 through 6. And then back in those days, Edison High School was grades 7 through 12. So she went to Edison High School from grade 7 all the way through grade 12. That is where she met our dad, Harry Miller. They were married after a long courtship, 1964, March 21st, 1964. Had me in 1966, Gerald in 1967. She went on to do great things as far as being a pillar in the community. Her biggest claim to fame is working with the Employment Development Department for the state of California, where she got lots of people, thousands of people employed, young African-American folks out of West Fresno looking for jobs after graduating from high school. My mom was able to help lots of people get positions of employment. As she got older, she got involved in a group called Leadership West Fresno, which was an organization that was designed to expose high school students, African-American high school students, to HBCUs, the historically Black colleges and universities, mainly in the South and on the East Coast. And every year, every spring, for about 20 to 25 years, she took groups of students out to visit colleges. And now, hundreds of kids have been able to go to those schools and be able to graduate and go on to the bigger and better things. So she was our #1 cheerleader. She was if you knew me and Juro in one way, or even my dad, the Miller Boyzzz, if you knew my father in any way, she was your #1 cheerleader. And so we unfortunately lost her last week. But as sad as it is, I'm happy that my mom is in a better place. There's no more pain, no more oxygen tanks. She's there with her parents, her sister, her brother-in-law, and all the people who preceded her in passing. So I want to make sure that that lovely woman that's on my screen right now, that we take a moment to honor her. Juro?
Yes?
Anything?
Oh, no, I'm just glad that was my mom, and she taught me the lessons that I had to learn, and she walked me into manhood and adulthood, and she gave me the backing and trusted me enough to make my own decisions and have my own understanding, which is something that she cherished. And I plan to, like I did a long time ago when I, realized that she was checking out of the world. So, a couple of years back, that I had a great relationship with my mother, loved her dearly. And yeah, she's raised me to be the man that I am, to stand firm and shade the ground that to protect the ground that I shade. That's all. She did her job well done. She did what she was sent here for, I believe, to do. So I have no regrets and no, hey, that's all. Like I said, if you knew her, you were her child. So she put a lot of food in people's stomach.
Yeah, a lot of food in people's stomachs, a lot of money in people's pockets, a lot of love in people's hearts. And so we will be celebrating her life in a very, very restricted environment. We're going to have a service for her on Monday, December 14th. At Cooley's Funeral Home at 10 o'clock. Unfortunately, that service is going to be restricted to 100 people. And we, as you know, have a very large family. The Miller and Hendricks family is very, very, very large here. And so we know that there are going to be some people who cannot come and participate in the service. And so please accept my apologies up front. But what we are planning to do as a family, we've already committed to doing this, although we're not sure when, is in the spring of 2021. My mom's birthday is on March 12th. And so we're planning right now, God willing, in this COVID, God deal with this COVID. We're planning on doing a celebration of life for my mom, March 12th, 13th, that weekend, so that everybody that my mom touched their hearts, touched their lives, will be able to participate in some way. So again, on behalf of the family, I apologize to those of you who will not be able to participate in the service. But because of COVID, there are some very, 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 very strong restrictions that the Cooley's Funeral Home is under. And so we want to make sure that we respect and honor restriction that they have. But we are going to plan, if we can't do it in March because of restrictions, and hopefully by the summer, we will be able to come up with some type of a date established to be able to honor my mom and the legacy that she left here in Fresno. So, with that, please keep us in your prayers. My dad is doing fine. He has his moments up and down. My younger son and I have been, taking care, spending time over there with him. Dad and I got tested yesterday, got COVID tested yesterday. We did the rapid test, and we did 2 tests yesterday. One of them was a rapid test. That test came back negative for both of us. There's a secondary test that we took that takes 3 to 5 days to get the results back from, and so we're waiting to get the results back from that. But, that was a big concern also with my mom passing from COVID, because we spent about 6 hours with her, 6 or 8 hours with her last Tuesday on the day that she passed. And so we were very, very worried about my dad, who's 80 years old, contracting the virus. But he wanted to be there and so I made sure that I was there, took him. And so, but like I said, his rapid test was negative. We're waiting for the little bit longer test to get the results. Hopefully by the end of the week, we'll be able to find out that he's negative at that point in time. So anyhow, that was not meant as a downer. My mom, as you can see, her beautiful face on there. I got one more picture for y'all. Here she is with all of her Miller Boyzzz. Oops, cut my head off. But anyway, you guys, when we say this show is called The Miller Boyzzz, it's because of that. That very fact, that picture right there, minus my head. My mom did not have any daughters, birth daughters. She adopted lots of young ladies, but as far as birth, she had me and my brother, and then the biggest baby of them all, my dad. And so this is the Miller Boyzzz that she created, and this is the legacy that we want to continue to carry on in her memory. You all right, man?
Am I okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm good.
So anyway, we'll be back. We're up against it right now. We'll be back next week, next Wednesday, to share more information with you about what's going on here in the community. It's the holiday season, and I heard this note today, so I think I'll share this as my parting thought. A lot of people are depressed, because of all the death that's going on and what's happening with COVID, and our last 4 years in politics, and just it's kind of been a bummer. But somebody said, you know what? Put up some Christmas lights. Lots of people say, well, it's been a bad year. 2020 is horrible. I'm not putting on Christmas lights. I'm going to protest 2020. But there's some other people out there, some therapists in society that says, put your lights up, because that bright light that you put up on your house may be the bright light that somebody needs to be able to get through their day, to get through their evening, to get from point A to point B. And so, I don't normally put up Christmas lights, but I think I'm going to put up Christmas lights over here at the Arthur House. I'm going to put up some Christmas lights over there at Recreation. Don't laugh and don't talk about me, because it's going to be very, very, very bootleg, very, very, very simple. But I think that it's important that we celebrate not only the season, the designated birth date of Christ, of Jesus, and the manger and all those type of things, but also that we put some lights up so that we hopefully touch someone else and get them through their day, and hopefully we can inspire each one teach one type of concept, where we can inspire other people to reach out and uplift others.
Okay.
You put lights, man?
No, I don't believe in Christmas. You know that.
Okay.
I had a personal note. I had COVID back in July, And so I know that you can beat COVID. The key is to stay hydrated and to stay rested so that your immune system doesn't get weak. And I'm not going to tell you about my personal life and how much I drive and all those types of things, but it got me when I was at a weak point physically, and took its toll. But you stay hydrated and try to eat healthy, try to exercise the normal places and spaces in life, and you can get through it and be just as beautiful as me and Donald Trump. You know, we're brothers in the defeat of COVID, although I don't believe he had it, but you can pass, and it is real. That's what we need to say. We pushed that earlier in the program, and you need to understand that it is real. And if you walk by somebody, ask them how much they've had to drink, how much water they had to drink today, and let's take care of each other in a physical. And yeah, that was a secret. I don't believe in some of the hocus pocus that other people believe in, but it is life is a sport, is a game, best played on people, but it's played in teams. So you better pick the right team, and you better play your position, and you better do what you're supposed to do. Don't wear no flip flops to a soccer game. You might get your toes stepped on. And with that, I'm going to say, like I always say, love, peace, and hair grease. You better make some wonderful thoughts with people, because this COVID, the day of COVID that we live in, you never know who's going to be next. And so you better live your life preciously every day. And love, peace, and hair grease.
We will see you guys. See everybody next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, God willing. Again, you've tuned into In Touch with the Miller Boyzzz. We love you, and we will see you next week. Peace.